Let's go back to Channel Migrants. My feeling is that, actually, in terms of the government, I don't think the government has very long now to get its act together, because I don't think the electorate are going to allow the government much wiggle room. Now, this morning in the papers, they're reporting about Braverman. We've been talking about her, and essentially going to ask France to step in. We've had 33,000 so far illegal migrants coming to this country. Rwanda hasn't got off the ground. We know that that's got capacity for some 200. I mean, 33,200, I mean, that's a non-starter for a start.
The numbers don't add up on that.
And so something clearly radically different needs to happen, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's an open goal for Liz Truss. I mean, you've had a couple of years of Boris Johnson in office, and every single year the numbers have just increased. I mean, it just as a steady rate, it's just increased. And every announcement that's come out saying they're going to deal with it, this is finally going to handle it, nothing then happens. It doesn't, manifest. And so it would be an easy win for her, and it would really, set out her stall of saying, I'm very different to Boris, I'm doing something which is getting on top of something he couldn't handle for 2 years. It would really make her look competent, and it would show there was a change. So
interesting. The one thing that I thought was really interesting, when she was asked about friend or foe, other French friend or foe, she's now decided they are friends, and they've talked now about this new entente cordiale. I just wonder whether they will ever get on top of the migrant problem.
I mean, I hope they do. I'd love to be proven wrong, but I don't think they will. I just think that Liz Truss doesn't really seem to care about it. I think it would be something that would be an easy win for her, but she's just ignoring it. Braverman, I think, does care. I think Braverman really does want to solve it. And I've spoken to Braverman as well before about things like the ECHR, and she's totally on board with pulling us out of the ECHR.
Whereas Truss isn't, I think.
Truss isn't. No. She's much more pro-ECHR, much more status quo, don't rock the boat, keep things, as they are. And I think you need to be a bit more bullish to get a handle on something like the migrant crossings. You need to take slightly more radical action.
I would agree, but don't you think that's the solution, actually? To say, we come out of the ECHR, we are tough, we turn the boats back, we tell France to sort out their act, we put more police, or put British police officers in France as well.
The issue of the migrant crossings is yet another example of how the target keeps moving inside the immigration debate. 6 years ago, it was all about taking back control, point-based immigration system. That was meant to solve, if you believe there's an immigration problem in this country, it was meant to solve our immigration problem. Clearly, we've seen, again, I defer to Ben on this, he's the expert in this area, not me. I think our numbers have come to this country have fallen since we left the EU. During COVID, we shut our borders. We
the highest amount ever last year, over 1 million visa applications.
But how many people actually came to the country? How many people actually came in?
Over 1 million.
Over 1 million. Okay, so Brexit didn't solve the immigration problem, clearly, if that's the case. So now we're dealing with people trying to cross the channel.
But Brexit isn't a thing that exists on its own. It's an opportunity which can be used by politicians.
It was solved as an issue.
Well, it's given us the power to solve the migration problem. We just haven't done it because the politicians who have the power to do that have chosen not to.
Yes.
Boris Johnson chose not to use the new power that he had in order to resolve an issue that has been long-standing.
So this goes back to the bigger issue, which I still don't understand. And obviously that exclusive that showed that of those illegal migrants, that they were Albanian.
Yeah,
we now
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
Yeah.
We thought it was 60 or 40% originally, then 60, then 80. And clearly Albania is not a war-torn country. You can come here from Albania with a visa. Why are we not being tougher?
Well, a lot of the reason people are coming in the dinghies rather than through legal routes is because they then end up in things
disappearing.
Disappearing. They're not traceable within the system.
And why would you want to do that?
And exactly, what would you possibly be the motivation for disappearing?
What would the motivation be for those people who may not have joined the dots?
To be completely blunt about it, there's a lot of organised crime, and there's a lot of opportunity for organised crime in a city like London. It's a huge, booming black market economy. Organised crime in London, there's huge amounts of money in it, and people who can monopolise on that.
But isn't the answer then to create safe and legal routes for them to come to this country? Because look,
there are already safe and legal routes. They're not using them deliberately. Because they don't want to be on the record.
We do need economic migrants here. Look,
we do, but we want them here legally.
Absolutely, but in routes like social care, for example, the salary thresholds are too high for people to apply for those visas to come and work here.
But some people deliberately take these routes because they don't want to be registered, they don't want to be on
absolutely. I accept there's always going to be a proportion of people who want to come to this country for illicit activity, and you're right about the scale of the black market economy there as well, but I think there still the government still has not got it right on immigration, and the fact that we're 6 years down the line.
But liberalising immigration won't stop the channel crossings.
I'm not suggesting that we liberalise, open our borders, but I think there are certain pressure points, for example, social care, health workforces, that we need overseas workers to come and work here too. And clearly the government has to strike the right balance.
Failure on policy more than anything.
Absolutely.
For example, we scrapped nursing bursaries a few years ago, and we now require degrees for nurses, but we can import nurses from other countries who don't have the same requirements.
So strangely, I spoke at conference at the weekend calling for the end to this ridiculous nonsense of having to have degrees to be a nurse.
It's ridiculous. It's
farcical. Utterly ridiculous.
Yeah. And it ends up, we put up barriers to people in this country becoming nurses, and then we import nurses from abroad. And it's just that we've created a problem unnecessarily. There's other ways of solving that staffing shortage.
I'm glad you've moved the topic on from that. By the way, do you think that Braverman can get on top of the migrant crisis?
I want her to, but I don't think she has the support from Liz Truss, and I don't think she has the support from the civil service.